Shout out to 𝗍𝗑𝗏 for using my code on 𝗏𝗡𝗡𝗔𝗡𝗔. If you'd like to do the same, check the link in the description. Thank you. Solstice 2022 is upon us, my dudes, and we're all enjoying Solstice thus far, right? I mean, no problems or anything. Give me a headstone. Regardless of your experience, I know how you all feel right now. Solstice came around, we got some new armor, we got a new game type, but what you really are all eyeing is that hand cannon that I got my meaty claws around right now. This hand cannon is known as the true prophet, the better devil, this hand cannon is known as the service revolver. Oh, come on! This hand cannon is known as the something new, and if you knew anything about Destiny, you would know that in fact this hand cannon does not look new. What is new, however, is this hand cannon being a 120 RPM stasis, which we've never seen before. It has some interesting perks that are rarely found on any other weapon, and things look sort of promising here, so let's jump into this. But just before we do, I'm going to need you to hit that subscribe button so your likeliness of watching my videos in the future increases so I can continue to do this as my full-time job. Did you do it? I know your ass didn't do it. Alright, let's jump into this. So, starting off, of course, we can't review this weapon without talking about how to get it. And you can get it through, Solstice. Just don't be like me and check your postmaster to see a Solstice package and expect anything more than disappointment, because you're just gonna be met with disappointment. What? So while you're farming out Bonfire Bash, of course you're going to want to be able to differentiate between the good rolls and the bad. So let's go ahead and take a look at the entire perk pool here, and this is what I'd recommend. As far as barrels are concerned, there really isn't much that they're going to do to affect the overall feel of the weapon, so it doesn't matter that much. Perhaps arrowhead break is a good option due to it giving perfect recoil direction, or maybe polygonal rifling for that bump in stability. Moving to the magazine though, landing a good pick here is almost essential because something new is rocking an excruciatingly low reload speed at 25. I mean, look at this bad boy go. For the love of God! For the love of God! Please! That shit is horrible. 25 reload is not ideal whatsoever, so flared magwell is very good here. Light mag could also work too, or even appended if you're able to land a reload speed masterwork to kind of balance things out. Do keep in mind that D2 Gunsmith is incorrect with the magazine count on screen being at 8, as it really should be 7, so expect only a magazine of 9 if you go with appended mag. Lastly, for our final column perks, we have ourselves Feeding Frenzy for reload, Wellspring for some ability energy, and the rest are just okay or pretty irrelevant. Stats for all would require almost half of your magazine to proc, which is laughable. Triple tap on a 120 is okay, I guess, but the low fire rate's just kind of pain, and everything else we can just kind of completely ignore. The final column, of course, is going to be Rolling Headstone, which is a phenomenal add clear perk when combined with Stasis Fragments, and we also have Demo to lean even further into ability builds, and the rest of the perks are, well, they're just there. So when it comes to overall perk rolls that I recommend, we have one that's absolutely phenomenal and one that's just pretty good. The first that I'd say is a pretty good combo is Appended Mag and Reload Masterwork with Wellspring Headstone if you're wanting to lean into a Stasis Crystal build. This way you can squeeze out some extra magazine size and reload speed to help pair with popping Headstone crystals, and Wellspring will be a bonus constantly going on in the background for supplying you with ability energy to get things like Glacial Nades to pop them too, the Warlock melee abilities, stasis turrets, and even the tight ice slide thingy. All this will ensure more enemies are being frozen, more ice crystals are being made, and more can be popped as a result for clearing out groups of enemies literally all the time. That's your more universal role that you can play around with, but when it comes to what I think this weapon does best, that's pairing a role of Wellspring and Demo with a Warlock stasis build. This is one of the best overall weapons that you can use if you're trying to create an entire stasis army without even trying to do it. Demo and Wellspring are going to work hand in hand with making sure you're constantly getting your nades back, whether that's contributing directly to the nade energy on each kill, or your class ability, which you can just slap on some bomber mods and then convert that class ability energy into more grenade energy. Since we don't need to dedicate our bullets to popping crystals, we can afford to just trade in some extra magazines to just go full in on reload, and the rest is history. Of course, if you're careful with your your shots, you might not even need to spec into reload speed due to demo auto reloading for you, so keep that in mind. The build here is rocking dual kickstart mods on the gauntlets, with elemental shards somewhere in there to start off a well build, and bomber mods on the class item to ensure that demo and wellspring get more than enough support to get you your nade back ASAP. Weave all this together with 𝗿𝗏𝗡𝗍 as your exotic, and you're going to be sitting pretty. Something New's unique perk roll really makes it one of, if not the best weapon to bring together the ultimate ad clear crowd controlled necromancy build in Destiny 2 right now. It's a bit of a double-edged sword, however, because I feel that this hand cannon can only shine in that sort of build. When it comes to using this weapon with a wellspring headstone roll, just something a bit more universal, that's fine and all, but there are plenty of shortcomings with this hand cannon that make me not want to use it when 𝗍𝗔𝗓 exists. Obviously, a main pain point here is the extremely low reload speed paired with a minuscule 7 in the magazine. When running headstone and needing to dedicate an extra bullet to popping the crystals, it just seems completely counterintuitive to even run that perk in the first place because the hand cannon simply isn't built around it. Take 𝗍𝗔𝗓 for example. This has a base magazine size of 11 compared to something New's 7, as well as a base reload speed of 45 compared to 25. Not only that, but you also have Unrelenting in that first column for survivability to pair with Headstone, which allows you to get into the thick of battle and still come out on top with your stasis crystals healing you mid-fight over and over and over again. I know some people will bring up the argument that something new is a free-to-play hand cannon compared to 𝗍𝗔𝗓, and that's very true, but for one, a free-to-play player isn't going to see much use out of something new, as Headstone will almost be worthless, and the other role won't be able to be properly spec'd into since they can't match the subclass. And for two, if someone already has Stasis as a subclass, aka they're a paid player, chances are they either already own Grasp of Avarice or they will own it soon. Most paid players eventually branch out into buying other DLCs, and 𝗍𝗔𝗓 not only being a better hand cannon all around, but also not being limited to only 3 to 4 weeks to grind out of the year. I mean, if I didn't already have it and it's already the superior hand cannon, I'd probably just go for that one. So to answer the question, is something new good for PvE? If you're running a specific Warlock turret build with Wellspring Demo, absolutely. I've never seen another weapon bring those types of results in that kind of build, and it's quite an experience to run that build with this weapon. When it comes to most every other scenario though, it's just overshadowed by 𝗍𝗔𝗓. The reload speed, the mag, the RPM, they all seem to work against something new, which is a real shame. Bungie could have buffed up the base reload and magazine, then perhaps allowed the weapon to roll with explosive payload and headstone, and we'd have one of the most hype weapons of the year on our hands. Being able to use a 120 with a flat damage boost on top of headstone's crazy damage and AoE would have been such a fun weapon for literally all classes, but unfortunately we didn't get it. With all that said, ladies and gentlemen, that is the official review, trademark pending, on the something new hand cannon. Yeah, this video's out pretty late considering Solstice has been going on for a week now, but I mainly did this video for fun. It's been a minute since I've done a standalone weapon review, so for those of you guys that watched the video all the way to the end, regardless of knowing a lot about the weapon already, I really appreciate you. As usual, big shout out to my Patreon supporters, which help keep the channel alive, as well as a thank you to my tier 2s, Homebase Serenity, Admus, File, John, and Onrock, and my tier 3 patrons, 𝗁𝗂, Austin, and 𝗿𝗏𝗟𝗓. Thank you all so much for watching, everybody, and I'll see you all next time.